So you're opening a game store, and a natural first question is, how much inventory do I need? I'm Kylie, Games Unlimited, and this is my series where I talk about the ins and outs of running a game store. First thing, all businesses, regardless of whether it's a game store, a restaurant, or anything else, the biggest problem when you start is undercapitalization, not having enough money. And game stores are notorious for this because people think, oh, it's easy. I'll buy a few games wholesale, put them on the shelf. They don't have a proper business plan, and they don't have deep enough pockets because they think everything's going to work out. It's very important to have a lot of capital starting up. I actually personally recommend not even thinking about opening a game store until you can have about $100,000 in capital all told. But that big question, how much inventory do I need? To understand how much inventory you need to understand the concept of turns, which is how many times you're going to sell through your inventory in a given period of time. Generally, we look at turns in terms of a year. So if I have, say, $10,000 worth of inventory on average that I keep on hand, and I'm turning it 3 times, that means I'm selling through all $10,000 of that inventory 3 times over the course of a year. You can use that, based on how much you're selling your product for, to calculate what your profit margin is. Now, this is an ideal situation. You don't actually sell all $10,000 of your stuff and then go and reorder it. This is all happening piecemeal. But in an industry that prices based on keystone, meaning I'm selling things for twice what I buy them for, the average amount of turns is somewhere between 3 and 5 for a year for a healthy store. So let's take that $10,000 of inventory that you have. If you're turning that 3 times a year, that means you are selling all $10,000 and you're selling it at Keystone. So you're selling that $10,000 for $20,000. Every time you've sold through your inventory, you have made $10,000. So if you turn 3 times, that's $30,000 in profit for the year. Of course, that profit's got to go to your employee salaries, your own salary, all of the overhead, the rent and everything. So you need to calculate what all that extraneous back-end stuff is going to cost you as you're calculating how many times you need to turn over your inventory. Now, this is where things get tricky because different parts of the industry don't have that keystone. Particularly collectible card games often have a much lower margin. So if you've got $10,000 in inventory that you sell the whole $10,000 but only sell it for $12,000 because it's a very low margin item, well, guess what? If you've only turned 3 times, you've only made $6,000 for that year. So if you have a low margin item and most of your products are low margin items, or you're selling everything at a deep discount, you're going to need many, many, many more turns in order to make the same amount of money in inventory work. So think about how much you need to make in a year, do the math to decide how much inventory you need to have.